So all I got to say after the Ravens-Eagles game last night is Jalen Carter is a beast. He is a beast, and the NFL should be scared. Also, DeAndre Swift showed why he is the #1 running back. Dallas still stinks. Yo, by the way, King Dingbat here, and hope everybody's having a great day. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're hanging in there. So the Eagles fall to the Ravens 20-19, and nobody cares about the outcome except for the Baltimore Ravens and maybe the desperate Dallas Cowboy fans. The Philadelphia Eagles showed last night why they have one of the best young rosters with talent in the National Football League. Jalen Carter is everything the Cowboys wish they had in Mozzie Smith and more. He's got the NFL talking today. And what about DeAndre Swift? I told you, this kid is explosive. Now, we're going to get into it in a second, all of it. But before we do that, if you're new to the channel and you like the content, make sure you hit that like button. More importantly, make sure you subscribe to the most censored, the most throttled Eagles content creator in all of the internet. And I just want to thank everybody who was in my stream last night. We had over 1,700 people for a preseason game. It was fantastic. What a night. It was so much fun. And we got a lot to talk about in this game because a lot of things happened. There was a good, there was some bad, and there was some book ugly, okay? There was. It was a book stinks. All right, but we'll get into it in a second. First thing we got to talk about is Shaun Bradley. Unfortunately, Shaun Bradley suffered a torn ACL. He's out for the season, and this is really going to hurt us on special teams. No, he's not a starting linebacker, on defense, but he was one of our special team aces. So once again, the special teams is a concern of mine, not just at punter, but at returner, and now you're losing bodies. So we wish Shaun Bradley that he'll get healthy and a quick recovery. Sucks to lose him, but it looks like it's a torn ACL. And let me tell you, the broadcast last night on NFL Network was horrible. They didn't even talk about who was hurt or anything like that. They're just like, oh, a Carter's out taking an Eagle off the field, and then they're just back on the Ravens sideline. Oh, it was horrendous. Anyways, I gotta say this: Jalen Carter is a monster. He's a beast. He is the closest thing. And this is early. I know this is early. I can't say this because he's going to have to go do it on the field week in and week out. But he's the closest the Eagles might have to Jerome Brown since Jerome Brown. I mean, the move he made yesterday, okay, first snap, and it was his former teammate, so his teammate should have known it was coming. He takes one arm, he throws the guy to the side, like that's Reggie White style. Throws him aside, goes, and then almost breaks Josh Johnson in half. I mean, he almost broke him in half. We almost saw his spleen go flying into the audience. It was like that. He almost killed him. That was enough. The Eagles took him out of the game. He didn't see no more. I mean, I think he had like 2 more snaps or something like that. Okay? He was an absolute beast, and the NFL should be worried. This kid should have been number 1 or 2 overall. The Eagles got to steal. They got to steal. And listen, this kid, he's smart. This is what he said in his press conference.
I had an outside movement in my mind, but after just seeing him come off the ball the way he did, it translated into inside movement. I got it. So, yeah.
He was your former college teammate, right?
Yes, sir.
Ben? Did you realize that as soon as you lined up against him?
But yeah, I knew it off the rip. As soon as we got to the O-line, saw me in Cleveland.
So obviously, I was very, very impressed with Jalen Carter. How can you not be? It's funny because going into this game, the two guys I really wanted to see make an impact early was Jalen Carter and DeAndre Swift. And both guys did it. I mean, we saw what Jalen Carter did on that one play. He's a beast. He's going to be, if you want to make some money, Defensive Rookie of the Year, that's the bet right there. Put some money on it, okay? Now, DeAndre Swift was another guy. We've heard a lot of talk. Well, DeAndre Swift, they got a tie for 5 starters on their depth chart, and he's last. Yeah, because it's in alphabetical order, okay? But DeAndre Swift got the start last night. what did he have, like 3 carries? And that was it. I mean, he made a move. He goes, he makes a move, hits the left for 22 yards, boom, he's out of the game. That's it. We've seen enough. This kid's the most explosive player, explosive back we have on this team. Listen, I know that a lot of people think Gainwell is the starter, but there's a real legitimate battle going on at the running back position. Nick Sirianni talked about this after the game. He said he wanted Swift to start. Next week, it might be Gainwell who starts and gets a couple carries. And he also wanted to see Rashad Penny go out there and, get some snaps since he hadn't played in a long time. But when DeAndre Swift show you how explosive he is, I think he's the most explosive player, most explosive running back the Eagles have. And by the end of the season, I have no doubt that he will be the #1 running back. I absolutely loved it. So to see those two guys right off the bat go out and perform, I was very, very happy to see that. I thought they were fantastic. They really made my night. At that point, whatever happened the rest of the game, barring injuries, I was going to be happy. Only the Baltimore Ravens care about winning a preseason game, and only the Cowboys care about it too because they stink. I mean, they stink. But I thought those guys were great. Another guy that really stood out to me was Tanner McKee. Tanner McKee, I mean, I was having Nick Foles flashbacks of Nick Foles in preseason when he was a rookie. That's what it reminded me of. This kid's a player. This kid has an arm. Now, I was impressed the way he stood in the pocket and threw the ball. There was a 3rd and 11, and he goes back to pass. He stays in the pocket. The pocket's collapsing. He fires over the middle for I want to say 20, 25 yards. I think Johnny King made the reception, and I was like, oh, man, this kid's something. He had another pass to Cleveland, the wide receiver. I thought he had a good game, too. There was another pass to Nagata, Joseph Nagata, who I think it was an offensive pass interference call, which was bogus. It was bogus. But I thought McKee played really good, and I think going forward he should just play the whole preseason. Play the whole preseason game or play the half next week. Next week I want to see him at least play a half. Okay. So I was really happy with the way he played. And like I said, Cleveland, I thought some of these receivers played good. I mean, Greg Ward Jr., we forget about him. Greg Ward Jr. came out, first reception for the Eagles. I thought he had a tremendous, tremendous game. So I was very happy with what I saw from the young receivers, what I saw from Tanner McKee, what I saw from DeAndre Swift, Jalen Carter. Those guys really stood out to me. Another guy that stood out was Eli Ricks. Eli Ricks a player. Let me tell you. Eli Ricks a player, man. He is long, he's lanky, he's aggressive. I love the kid. I love him. He gets a pick 6. He goes in a touchdown. He comes right back out, almost has another interception, breaks up a 3rd down play, gets up, starts talking crap to the wide receiver. I love that kid. I love him. This kid's got to find a way to make this roster, and I think he will. I thought Kylie Ringo had a good game. A lot of people say, oh, well, he gave up the touchdown. But to me, it's not about giving up the touchdown. Everybody's going to give up something sometimes. It's how you respond to it. How did Kylie Ringo respond to it? Big 3rd down breakup the next possession for Baltimore. I liked the way he played. That Gardner, MCKEE Gardner, I thought he played pretty good after giving up a touchdown. Josh Jobe, they called a bogus pass interference on him. I thought he played good. I'm telling you what, Greedy Williams, some of these veteran guys may be in trouble because there's no way I'm letting Josh Jobe go. There's no way I'm letting Eli Ricks go. Okay? There's no way that those guys, I can let them go. And I'm sure there's other guys on there that I'm not even thinking about off the top of my head. You can't let go. You can't let these young defensive backs go. We got some young defensive back talent, and I feel a whole lot better about our depth after seeing those guys play. I really do. I like what I saw from those guys. There's a lot of good things from the young guys, So I was very excited. Overall, I'm very happy with what I saw. I don't care, as I said, about the win. Now, there are things that I didn't like. There are some things that I think people are making a big deal about that they shouldn't. For example, a lot of people talking about Nolan Smith. Well, Nolan Smith got knocked off the ball. Nolan Smith over pursued, and the running back was able to run to the right and get big yards. But Nolan Smith hasn't played in like a year, coming off an injury. You got to give him a chance to get going, okay? Nolan Smith, to me, wasn't as bad. And I've only seen the game once. I've got to go back and rewatch it. I'll rewatch it several times. But there were at least 2 or 3 times where he looked like he put pressure on the quarterback. There was one play where they literally grabbed his face mask. Should have been hands to the face at the very least. And I think if that guy doesn't do that, I think he might have had a sack. So we got to give Nolan Smith some time to get going, to get his feet under him. Listen, I'm going to be quite honest with you with Rashad Penny. I wasn't impressed based upon the one game I saw with Rashad Penny. I thought Trey Sermon looked better as a running back than him. Now, he had some good pass protection. I'll give him that. But as a runner, I wasn't that impressed. But it's the same thing. Here's a guy that hasn't played in a long, long time, right? Coming back from injury. I can't judge him on one game because he's got to have a chance to get his feet under him, knock off some of the rust. So I'm really going to be curious what Rashad Penny does next week and the week after in preseason. But I thought Trey Sermon was actually a better running back than him last night. And like I said, I'm not going to make a judgment on Penny until I see more. Give him a chance to adapt. Give Nolan Smith a chance to adapt. Give these guys a chance to adapt, okay? Even a guy like Tyler Steen, he gave up a sack. He struggled a little bit. Give him a time to adjust. I think that's good. I mean, not everybody is a beast like Jalen Carter. Mozzie Smith, even him, he's getting blown off the ball. He's sitting there. I watched the Cowboys, and here's Mozzie Smith, like 3 plays. Couldn't breathe. He's so out of shape. I'm like, what? This guy can't compete with Jalen Carter. What are these people, nuts? What are they, nuts? So we got to give those guys a chance to adjust. Don't kill them too much. There were things I didn't like. First and foremost, Ian Book stinks. He stinks, let's face it. And, I can't even kill the guy that much. He's like a Chase Daniels wannabe. I was having flashbacks to Chase Daniels. If you remember any of my earlier videos, I couldn't stand Chase Daniels. I felt Ian Book was the same way. But he's just a camp body. He's just, he's going to be here for camp. I'm not going to kill the kid too much. Marcus Mariota was a disappointment. And I'm a Marcus Mariota guy. Okay, I liked him coming out of college. I thought he was going to be good if he went to the right coaches, which he didn't. But it is disappointing. You might hear noise back there. That's the little kitties. Last night was a late night. After the stream and after my post game, I was up till 4:30 in the morning. My cat was delivering a litter. So I'll show you guys maybe the post credit scene. They're cute though. But anyways, so if you hear something noise, that's them. I don't want to move them out of the room because this is where my cat feels comfortable. But anyways, so Mariota, we've heard the struggles in camp about him. He's good with running the ball, but his passing, he's been inaccurate. The Eagles should have been up 14-0. He missed some wide open guys. I mean, he should have hit them, and he just missed. You can't do that. I know the Eagles like Mariota because, if he has to come in for a couple games, you don't have to change your offensive system. But he has to be better at passing the ball. And I think he can be, and I think he will be. But he was disappointing last night. I'm just going to be honest about it and keep it real. I'm a little concerned about the about the linebackers. And I should say this. I thought the best linebacker last night was Nicholas Morrow. We've heard some things about Ellis going to compete with Nicholas Morrow, but I thought Morrow was the best linebacker last night. And the thing with Ellis was he had a chance early to make a big play in the backfield. He read a play. He's fast, very athletic, and then he misses a tackle. You can't miss the tackle there, in the backfield. I thought Nicholas Morrow was our best linebacker. It was disappointing that Kobe Dean didn't even dress, didn't play. He needs to be on the field. And hopefully guys like Miles Jack or Cunningham, somebody can step up. But I do worry about the depth at linebacker. Now you lost Sean Bradley. To me, this is a concern. Linebackers worry me. This Ben Van Sutton or whatever the kid from Michigan, I think he's a very athletic linebacker. I thought he came out early. It looked a little bit like, deer in headlights, but he settled down and he started to play. He's very athletic, very fast himself, but I don't see him as a guy that's going to contribute this year. I think he's a practice squad guy that you develop and maybe next year he can make some noise. So I am worried about the linebackers situation still. And I should say this. I thought Kavon Wallace was fantastic last night. I thought Sidney Brown was fantastic last night. These guys are heat-seeking missiles, and especially Sidney Brown. He's a heat-seeking missile, and I want this kid to win the starting job with Reed Blankenship. I don't know, based upon him playing late into the fourth quarter, you got to wonder where he is on the depth chart. But Kavon Wallace, he played well. Sidney Brown played well. The Eagles had a lot of young defensive backs play well last night. Very good to see, and I think this team has a lot of young talent. Remember, the starters weren't even playing, but this team is going to be very, very good. And a lot of things to build on, and you got to be excited about DeAndre Swift and especially Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter is a beast. He just is. I'm going to definitely watch the game. If I have any more comments about anything else, I'll go back to it. There's some guys I definitely want to just look at and watch closely, but this team's going to be good, man, and I can't wait to the next game. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat, and remember, it's Howie Vision. We're all just living in it. So this is what kept me up all night. These little 6 kittens that just were born last night, 4:30 in the morning. I'm trying to help them get on mommy's nip so they could feed. But they're healthy, looking good, and very, very cute. Denzel Washington out.